The Maneuver Center of Excellence Band's history dates back to 1916, when the band was first organized in El Paso, Texas as the 34th Infantry Band of the 34th Infantry Regiment. During its time with the 34th Infantry Regiment, the band earned campaign participation credit in World War I in Lorraine, France. The band served for many years at Fort Benning, Georgia, until it was inactivated in June of 1940. In October of 1942, the band was reactivated at Schofield Barracks, Hawaii, and this time aligned with the 136th Infantry Regiment. The band was called on to support overseas efforts during wartime before being deactivated again in December of 1946. After several reorganizations and redesignations, the band was finally activated once again on Fort Benning, Georgia in 1955 as the 283rd Army Band. In 2009, during Fort Benning's transformation with Fort Knox, the band was officially designated as the Maneuver Center of Excellence Band. We welcome you today on behalf of all the men and women of today's Army, for they are the strength of the nation, ready today and prepared for tomorrow. Let's give it up for Sergeant Colin Bear on trumpet. Drumline, folks. Once again, that was Sergeant Colin Bear, joined by Staff Sergeant Richardson. beside her and guide her through the night with a light from above, from the mountains to the prairie, to the oceans, wide with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home. For over 60 years, the musicians of the United States Army Maneuver Center of Excellence Band have taken great pride in entertaining the soldiers, families, and civilians of the Fort Benning, Columbus, and Phoenix City communities. Through music, they've shared the story of our nation and its soldiers worldwide. Currently, the MCOE band, with its 8 performing groups, accomplishes over 400 missions a year in support of the military and civilian communities in and around Fort Benning. The band lives by the Maneuver Center of Excellence motto, one force, one fight. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for your Maneuver Center of Excellence band.
Friends and family members of Charlie Company, 2nd Battalion, 54th Infantry Regiment, on behalf of Major General Patrick Donahoe and Command Sergeant Major Derek Garner of the United States Maneuver Center of Excellence, and Brigadier General David Hodney and Command Sergeant Major Robert Fortenberry of the United States Army Infantry School, we welcome you to today's graduation. This ceremony is being streamed on Facebook Live. Please feel free to like and share during the ceremony. These young soldiers in front of you today, all volunteers, joined the Army and the infantry in a time of war. They chose to serve their nation knowing that they may be deployed to support contingency operations around the world by their commander-in-chief. The purpose of today's ceremony is to recognize the commitment of the soldiers in formation today who have chosen to serve their country as infantry soldiers. This review is the last official formation of the training cycle. Not everyone successfully completes this difficult period of training, but those in formation today represent disciplined, motivated, and physically fit soldiers who exemplify the Army's 7 core values: loyalty, duty, respect, selfless service, honor, integrity, and personal courage. These soldiers are imbued with the warrior ethos and display the tenets of putting the mission first, never accepting defeat, never quitting, and never leaving behind a fallen comrade. This is an important day, and they can take great pride in their accomplishments. This ceremony marks the culmination of months of long and arduous training, the results of which are these superb infantry soldiers prepared to take their places in infantry units around the world. Like you, we are proud of their accomplishments. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the invocation given by Chaplain Michael Palmer and remain standing for the playing of the national anthem.
Let us pray. Lord our God, as we gather this morning, we call to mind the example of St. Maurice, the patron saint of the infantry, the Roman legionnaire who willingly gave his life instead of claiming the lives of innocent people. It is the same moral courage and physical courage that I entrust these soldiers with today. As they prepare to graduate and go around the world to serve this country, I ask you, Lord, to keep them safe under your protecting hand. Give them this same moral courage, the same guidance and wisdom that they need to serve this country and serve their brothers and sisters. May all of them, wherever they may go, always keep faithful to their oaths, keep faithful to their comrades, and keep faithful to this country they serve. I ask all these things through Christ Jesus, our Lord. Amen.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. The soldiers before you were awarded their infantry blue cords. The significance of the infantry blue cord is that it allows other soldiers to recognize the men and women who will fight along the front lines for our country during times of war. The light blue color of the infantry dates back to the Revolutionary times, when America's war for independence began. Men of the Continental Army were dressed in a wide variety of uniforms of all different colors. It was next to impossible to determine the rank or branch of a Continental Army soldier by looking at their uniform. In an effort to solve this problem, General George Washington issued an order that men in the Continental Army henceforth wear colors on plumes or tunics to make their rank and branch easily identifiable. Later, blue denoted infantry soldiers of both the Union and Confederacy during the Civil War. The Federal troops wore braids of this color on their caps, and their rebel counterparts embellished their trousers with blue piping along the sides. During the Korean War, it was decided that light blue would be recognized as the official infantry branch color and would be used to enhance the dress uniform. The new blue cord was first worn by members of the 3rd Infantry Regiment, the Old Guard. It then became standard to the Army in 1952 and has been proudly worn by all infantry soldiers since. The infantry soldiers graduating today come from many parts of the United States. Turning blue signifies the rite of passage of these soldiers to carry on the finest traditions of the infantry. The infantry cross rifles, blue discs, and blue cord mark these soldiers as qualified to be the finest soldiers in the world, United States Army Infantry. The cadre most responsible for the training of these infantry soldiers are the drill sergeants, who are carefully selected by the Department of the Army. The drill sergeant campaign hat and badge have been a stoic symbol of professionalism and pride since 1962. At this time, the drill sergeant of the cycle for Charlie Company, 2nd Battalion, 54th Infantry Regiment, Senior Drill Sergeant Terry Porter from Chesapeake, Ohio, will now recite the Drill Sergeant Creed.
The Drill Sergeant Creed. I will assist each individual in their efforts to become a highly motivated, well-disciplined, physically and mentally fit soldier, capable of defeating any enemy on today's modern battlefield. I will instill pride in all I train, pride in self, in the Army, and in country. I will insist that each soldier meets and maintains the Army standards of military bearing and courtesy, consistent with the highest traditions of the U.S. Army. I will lead by example, never requiring a soldier to attempt any task I would not do myself. But first, last, and always, I am an American soldier, sworn to defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, both foreign and domestic. I am a drill sergeant. This will defend.
The drill sergeant of the cycle will receive the Army Commendation Medal. Ladies and gentlemen, the commander of 2nd Battalion, 54th Infantry Regiment, Lieutenant Colonel Eric Hong.
family and friends, on behalf of Colonel Wiley, the Brigade Commander of the 190th Infantry Brigade, and Command Sergeant Major Holmes, the Brigade Command Sergeant Major, welcome to the graduation of Charlie Company, 2nd Battalion, 54th Infantry Regiment. 5 months before the conclusion of the American Civil War in 1865, President Abraham Lincoln wrote a letter to Lydia Bixby, a grieving mother who had lost 5 of her sons who served the Union Army during the war. In the letter, President Lincoln expressed his condolences, saying, "I feel how weak and fruitless must be any words of mine, which should attempt to beguile you from the grief of a loss so overwhelming. But I cannot refrain from tendering to you the consolation that may be found in the thanks of the Republic they died to save. I pray that our Heavenly Father may assuage the anguish of your bereavement and leave you only the cherished memory of the loved and lost, and the solemn pride that must be yours to have laid so costly a sacrifice upon the altar of freedom." This solemn pride is shared today by hundreds of fellow American citizens viewing the graduation of Charlie Company this morning. It should not be lost on this graduating class that they began this journey last September on the 11th. Another day that will live in infamy when 2,605 of fellow citizens perished 20 years ago. Our graduates now have an inseparable bond, steeped in a tradition of service and sacrifice that is shared by the young soldiers who gave their lives in defense of the most precious ideals of our nation 150 years ago. This bond also exists with the American doughboys who fought and died in the trenches of World War I, the heroes who overcame the fronts of World War II, the frigid mountains of Korea, the sweltering jungles of Vietnam, and the unforgiving sands of the Middle East. Over 150 days under tutelage of Charlie Company's professional drill sergeants and platoon leaders, these newly minted infantry soldiers marched over 100 miles in the dark and in the rain, while expending over 2,600 rounds of ammunition. And just as their warrior forefathers wept and bled on desolate battlefields, the blood and tears these graduates shed are now forever mixed with the soil of Sand Hill's proving grounds. Indeed, transformation and evolution define the very spirit of this graduating class. Private Josue Clara from El Monte, California, was one of the very first trainees in Charlie Company who expressed the desire to leave OSIT, convinced that he would never become an infantry soldier. This self-doubt would follow him like a persistent, suffocating mist. However, over time, with the enthusiastic instruction of his drill sergeants, the support of his teammates, he began to believe in his training, his equipment, and himself. This morning, Private Clara stands proudly as a bona fide infantry soldier, flanked by similar stories of self-discovery and triumph. To the infantry soldiers graduating today as part of the 54th Infantry Regiment, remember, you have sworn an oath to defend the Constitution of our United States. You now begin perhaps the greatest journey of all, your lifelong pursuit of honorable service to our nation. In doing so, you join a long, storied line of infantry who have faithfully served our nation, unbroken and forged by close combat since 1775. Make us proud. Congratulations. Follow me, brave and bold.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Soldier's Creed is the standard for all soldiers to live by. The Soldier's Creed helps them all understand that despite their very diverse backgrounds, all soldiers are warriors and members of a team. The soldier of the cycle from Charlie Company, 2nd Battalion, 54th Infantry Regiment is Private Foster from Hastings, Minnesota. Private Foster's follow-on assignment is Ranger Assessment and Selection Program. He will now lead the Army's newest infantry soldiers in the Soldier's Creed.
The Soldier's Creed! I am an American soldier! I am a warrior and a member of a team! I serve the people of the United States and live the Army values! I will always place the mission first! I will never accept defeat! I will never quit! I will never leave a fallen comrade! I am disciplined, physically and mentally tough, trained and proficient in my warrior tasks and drills. I always maintain my arms, my equipment, and myself. I am
am an expert and I am a professional. I stand ready to deploy, engage, and destroy the enemies of the United States of America in close combat. I am a guardian of freedom and the American way of life. I am an American soldier!
The distinguished honor graduate will receive the Army Achievement Medal. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the playing of the infantry song and the Army song. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the 198th Infantry Training Brigade Commander, Colonel Ryan Wiley, and the Brigade Command Sergeant Major Lamont Holmes, we thank you for viewing today's ceremony. Follow me.